Opening statements are set for today in the long-awaited trial of a man accused of killing two teenage girls in Delphi, Indiana. I remember this story. 13-year-old Abby Williams and her friend, 14-year-old Libby German. This happened back in 2017. 52-year-old Richard Allen is his name. He has pleaded not guilty. He faces 130 years in prison if he's convicted. Meg Oliver is covering this trial for us. She's at the courthouse in Delphi. Meg, good morning to you.
Good morning. The anticipation is building. People started lining up outside the court last night to secure some of those precious public seats inside. What's fascinating about this trial is that there is virtually no physical evidence, no DNA, no weapon, and no motive yet. Prosecutors are expected to say that the suspect, Allen, confessed nearly 60 times over the last 2 years, but the defense will counter that he didn't do so voluntarily and he was suffering from a mental illness at the time. The trial of Richard Allen is the latest chapter in a case that has haunted the town of Delphi, Indiana for years. It all began February 13, 2017, when 13-year-old Abby Williams and her best friend, 14-year-old Libby German, went for a hike just outside town. When they didn't return home, their small community of 3,000 launched a search. The following day, the girls were found stabbed to death in a rugged, wooded area a half-mile from the abandoned railroad bridge where they were last seen.
Could this be a stranger crime? That's a possibility. Could this be somebody that knew that the girls were going to be there at that time? That's a possibility. Nothing is off the table.
Within days, police released this grainy image found on Libby's cell phone and an audio clip of a man police believed was the killer. Later that year, investigators released a sketch of the suspect and another in April 2019. In years following the murder, multiple suspects were questioned, but no arrests were made until investigators zeroed in on Richard Allen, a pharmacy worker who lived 5 minutes from the crime scene and, according to his attorneys, told police in 2017 he was on the trail the day of the murders. John Tompkins is an Indianapolis defense lawyer who has followed the case since the beginning.
The fact of who he was and that he had lived in that community before, during, and right up until his arrest was pretty shocking because he hadn't done anything to draw attention to himself or make himself a suspect, and there was no clear connection between he and the victims.
According to a probable cause affidavit, when police interviewed Allen again in 2022, they matched a pistol he owned with an unused round found at the scene. And Judge Francis Gull has ruled prosecutors can place several reported confessions Allen made to family members, staff, and doctors while in jail awaiting trial. Still, Tompkins, who has no connection to the case, says it's far from a slam dunk for the prosecution.
He does not appear to match the composite sketch. The witnesses who described the people in the area at the relevant time described a different person or two different people, and he's simply not the person they described based on those drawings.
We're not going to see or hear a lot from this trial. There are no cameras or devices allowed inside, only a sketch artist and a pool reporter taking handwritten notes. The judge has issued a gag order, and the jury will be sequestered through the duration of this trial, which could last more than a month. All of the jurors had to give up their cell phones, and they will only be allowed to make supervised phone calls with a bailiff standing next to them.
Wow, we'll keep following it, Meg. Thank you very much.